Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geislinger, and alongside me is David Grant Jr., my cousin and co-strategist. The teams up on the block are the Dallas Mavericks at the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Tonight, we're zeroing in on the pivotal game of the series, breaking down our top three picks. We'll unpack the strategies behind each selection and share game changing insights to elevate your lineups and cash in big. Get ready because we're about to tip off with some insider knowledge that could transform your approach to single game betting on FanDuel.
Yeah, nice. So here we are getting into game two of this Western Conference Finals here. Yeah, game one came down to the wire. So yeah, let's just do a quick recap of that before getting in here to game two. So looking back, Dallas ended up winning 108 to 105. So they basically took home field or home court advantage from Minnesota, but Luka, Kyrie, and Derek Lively were the top three fantasy scorers there for Dallas, where Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, and Gobert were the top three for Minnesota. The optimal lineup, nothing too crazy. Luka coming in at MVP, Kyrie at the star, McDaniels pro, Lively, and then Reed at the utility position. So yeah, it looks like I think there's about I think it was a 3 or 4 way split there. So first got you 24K, which pretty nice there. Here we go. We got the ownership, the average ownership. Well, it's only one game, so this is the ownership there for game one, and then we have game two salaries up there. So nothing really out of the ordinary. It does look like quite a bit of Minnesota players went down salary, where the Dallas Mavericks salary, some of their players obviously went up due to winning there. So yeah, use these salaries to help create that unique lineup for yourself. So with that, let's go ahead and get in here to game two. So after losing and being the favorites, Minnesota remains the favorites and actually gets a bump up with their points. So they were 4 points favorites last matchup, and now they're 5 after losing. So Vegas is doing Vegas things. Over understated about the same. It's at 207.5. Dallas offensive rating 113.7, defensive 110.5, and the pace is 95. And then obviously the inverse there for Minnesota. Looks like Luka came off the injury report, so no game time decision for him. Even if he was, he'd still be playing. However, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Mike Conley still remains with that game time decision questionable tag for them. But I don't have any doubt that he's not playing as he did play in game one. So with that, do you have anything to add here, general game wise for game two before we get into our breakdowns here?
Mainly just that I would think I feel like that Conley's minutes might be down a little bit with the injury, and that might give some minutes to some other people. But I still, obviously, I 100% like you. He's at least gonna play and give it a go. I just don't think he's gonna rack up, a lot of minutes like he did the series before. So, other than that, yeah, I'd be ready to dive in into our key plays here.
All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into that here. So, who do you got as your first key player here?
So first key player, I mean, since they are down, 0-1, I kind of don't have a choice but to go to Anthony Edwards. He's their number one player by far. You know, he he does it all. I mean, even when he's having a poor shooting night, he is a great two-way player. He's out there defending. He's out there getting rebounds. He really is a just great all-around player. But it seems like this series they're going to need him to really step up and be more worried about the offense than the defense. They have plenty of other great defenders that are out there. Um, I heard that they kind of had a little jokingly thing where he and Kyrie talked, and he told Kyrie like, "I'm guarding you and I'm locking you down." And notice in game one, Kyrie went out and took like 23 or 22 shots when we haven't seen Kyrie take that many shots. I don't believe he did all of the series before. Like I'd been going Kyrie every night, waiting for him to have that many shot attempts, and had I known that that was going to happen, I would have gone a lot more Kyrie in game one. But nonetheless, we're here to talk about Anthony Edwards. He needs to get out there uh, and be taking the 20 plus shot attempts. 20 to 20, as high as 27. I mean, he's good. He's good enough. He needs to be out there playing offense. His usage is at 27%. He's averaging 24 points a game here the last 5 games. Uh, he's it's just they can't go down 0-2. If they go down 0-2, um, especially since both of these games are at home, it's not like you're going down 0-2 and then you get to go home. You're going down 0-2 and then you're going on the road. So in a must-win game, however Anthony Edwards goes is typically how the team goes, and that's my first pick. His salary is at 15.5, and with him being due for a huge game, um, and Luka's salary going up or kind of staying the same. I mean, he's up there at the 17.5. If you think Minnesota is going to win and Dallas is going to give this one up, or that Luka's not going to have an amazing game, it allows you to build a lineup that's a little bit more, balanced and lineup friendly and not digging from the bottom of the barrel. So that's my first pick. What are your thoughts on that? Who do you got here for your first pick?
Yeah, no, I like to pick, and I'm gonna give my three key leverage plays here, and yeah, he's gonna be the first leverage play for me as well. I like him, sitting here at the MVP slot at coming in at 15.5K salary. Luca ended up going from 17K to 17.5 now, so he went up salary. Anthony Edwards stayed the same. Like you mentioned, usage 21.5, his minutes 40.7. He averaged 47, only one game, but 47 fantasy points last matchup. He's only projected 41 this matchup. However, that's taking an average from all the sides. I think, however, he's going to need to get a 50 plus fantasy night. I think if Minnesota's going to win this game. Why I like him at the MVP, in game one, his ownership was only 31% at the MVP and 28% at the star. Last series at the MVP, he was only 25% owned throughout the whole series, and averaging at 34% at the star. Keeping in mind, Joker was the other superstar, so obviously he took quite a bit of the MVP ownership there. So yeah, with him having the MVP ownership of only 31, where Luka is coming in around 60, yeah, and 2K cheaper, and he still has the upside. Yeah, I like him at that MVP position. So that right there sets you, you know, basically, what 50%, greater, I guess
Different
odds
than
wise,
other
yeah,
lineup.
different, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's why I like him as my leverage at MVP. So yeah, no,
Nice.
good call on that. Now getting on in here to my second, I'm going to go with Daniel Gafford, and I do like him at the pro position. He's coming in at only 8,500, which is crazy there. So his his ownership was only 5% in the pro, 21% in the utility. So with someone getting 21 minutes, 22 usage, averaging 21.8 points, or he got 21.8 points last matchup. He's projected about 23, 24 points. So, yeah, I definitely like him up there in that pros position, especially that 8,500 salary, because people, see 8,500 and think, okay, that's definitely a utility player. Last series, his average throughout the entire series was 13.5% at the pro, 20% at utility. So with that, I think the bigs are pretty much dominating on both sides. I know Derek Lively is getting a lot of the attention, and he even now is more expensive. He's at 9.5K, and they basically have the same upside. Uh, you know, they're basically almost the same player. Lively's obviously a little bit younger, but if you're looking fantasy production wise, they're roughly the same. But Gafford's coming in at about 1,000 salary cheaper. So with that, you can set yourself apart, putting him up in the pro. We've seen him get 40 plus games,
Yeah.
last series, and he can, definitely do it here against Minnesota. So, yeah, what do you think about that play
Yeah.
with Daniel Gafford at the pro position?
Yeah. Love it at the pro. Like you mentioned, now we see him once again starting back down at the 8,500. I was shocked when I saw that. Like it's not starting, but at least, he fell from game one. Again, at the beginning of the playoffs, he started as a 12,500 play. Him being down to 8,500 is pretty crazy. Um, and like you mentioned, most 99% of people are going to put him in utility. So by putting him at the pro spot, again, that's another great leverage play due to his upside. And even, worst case scenario, his floor really isn't that bad. It's mid to low 20s, but I mean, you can count on him getting that, and then he has the other great upside as well. So yeah, great. I love the pick. That actually will kind of lead over to my next play, which is Derek Lively. I know he did go up to the 9,500. Um, I feel like this matchup is a little bit different since, you got Cat Williams, um, you got Cat, you got Naz Reid, who's not quite as big, but then you also have Defensive Player of the Year and Rudy Gobert. So I feel like Derek Lively is a little bit bigger of a like taller, bigger, true center, and he did get more minutes. He got 27 minutes in game one, so I feel like if his minutes do stay up like that, and they might go even a little bit higher, just due to the matchup that at the 9,500, he also has has the upside, of 30 plus. I mean, he hit 33 in game one. He has hit to, oh, shoot, sorry about that. Clicking on the wrong person over here. During the regular season, he did hit 20, he did hit 29 fantasy points during the regular season and got 32 minutes. But again, that was in back in December. Playoffs are obviously a whole nother ball game, but knowing that he did have 32 minutes there, I know that's before Gafford was there, but nonetheless, I still think Lively needs to be a play in your utility or in your pro spot because of how cheap they are and how consistent they are typically with their fantasy production. So, what are your thoughts still on Lively? I know we went Gafford. I don't know if they correlate well together, but
Yeah, I mean,
going one or the other.
both of them did pretty well, and like the bigs are taking over. I mean, even like you said, Lively played 26, Gafford played 22 minutes. Gafford ended up with I think what 20. I said 22
Yeah.
points, and he ended up with 32. So yeah, they do play well together. His ownership is was less than Gafford. I think that's due also he's a rookie, so he came in at 4.5% at the pro and 12% at the utility. And I think now with salary going up and his performance, his ownership spike will also go up. So just keep
Yeah.
that in mind there. And then obviously you're hoping, that either one, whatever one you decide to go with, does well. So yeah, no, like the pick. So who do you got here as your third pick?
Yeah, final pick here. I'm going on to the other side of the ball. I'm going to go with Jaden McDaniels. I know he's coming off a great game. He played 39 minutes, had 24 points. He's one of those guys that have pretty much just consistently gotten the minutes that are out there. He's been hot lately in the Denver's game seven, 40 minutes, 41 points. Even in game six, when they blew him out, he played 30 minutes and had 36 fantasy points. So his last three games, I mean, he's been on fire. He's at 10-5. I like the 10-5 salary with what that upside is there. He's just on the floor. He's consistent. And watching him in this specific matchup, he looked a lot better against Dallas to me than what he did throughout most of Denver. I mean, obviously his numbers in those last three games against Denver speak for themselves, but from what I actually saw with my own two eyes, in game one, it looked like this is a much better matchup for him. So I could see him repeating this performance or doing even better. So that's my final pick here. What are your thoughts on him, and who we got here rounding off your final play?
Yeah, no, I like Jaden McDaniels. I think, only unfortunate thing is I think everybody else does as well. His ownership is
Yeah.
quite high. At least looking over here at game one, just coming in, he was about 14% pro, 20% utility. Obviously, with the performance he just had, and I think his price range, stayed roughly the same, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no, it only went up 500. So I think he will get more ownership there, especially, I believe, probably in the pro position there. He did catch fire. He hit a few, I know he hit a few consecutive threes in a row. And I think he also got into a little bit of foul trouble. If I'm not mistaken, he might have had
Yeah,
4 fouls
yeah,
at one time, and he might have got sat down if my memory serves me. So he potentially could have had probably a better game. But yeah, no, he's probably coming out as one of their better defenders there. So if he can, stay on the ball, get those defensive points as well as maintain the offense as he's been doing, yeah, he's doing great. So yeah,
so
good pick there.
but one thing to pick your brain before we hear your last thought. My other, it was between him and Nas Reed. I mean, I just felt like Nas Reed was going to be a higher owned play because of his price at 9,000, and he's been pretty consistent. Doing really well, and he's done really well against them during the regular season. So I just felt like that ownership was going to be higher because he's 9K. So
Oh,
uh,
Nas Reed's ownership's insane. You're coming in.
yeah,
You need to put him at the pro in order, because he's Nas
okay.
Reed's at 3.4% pro and
Hey.
39% utility.
Oh, okay.
So and then obviously he just had a decent game at 28. So I can even see him probably maintaining 40% utility and then even going up to 6,
Like,
7, 8% in
uh,
pro. So he needs another pro
okay.
performance in order to do that. Obviously, he can still do it. He is a good play at 9K, but you know, 40% of other people you're going to be
No.
scoring points with. So it's almost,
Yeah.
I mean, 40% is good, I guess, based on your other lineup construction, but it's just going to come down to, you know, are you different in another position enough to get him in
Okay.
that utility position, or you want to be
Okay.
unique and throw him in the pro? That 9% still not bad. So
Okay. Right on. Well, who you got here to wrap us up with?
wrapping up here with Derek Jones Jr. I like him.
Oh,
I'm going to use him another pro leverage position. I know I did 2 pros. This is leverage plays. These are going to be meant to how you do your lineups. So don't necessarily play all the players that I say, in the same lineup. So just, these are all based on the lineups you're creating. So, Derek Jones at 8K, that's insane. Minutes, 35 minutes. Usage is a little bit down from what it was, 11.7. He's only averaging, he's on for one game, 15.8. He's projected 22. Yeah, he actually went down 1,000 salary from last game. So I think this is a huge salary, leverage as well. The last series, he had 2 games over 30 fantasy points. He averaged 24 in the last series. His ownership wise, why I like him in the pro, he was at 3.5% game one at pro and 34% in the utility. This guy, he can do it. He averages like mid 20s easily. Obviously, he did have a lower game here at 15.8 in game one, but dropping down to 8K salaries, it's almost a steal. So, like I said, last series he averaged 2% pro, 21% at the utility. So, I think he'll be even now dropping down to 8K. He'll probably be mid 30s utility, and probably maybe took a hit on the pro because of what he did, but he can easily hit mid 20s, low 30 fantasy production. So that's why I like him at the pro at 8K, because not a lot of people will have him there, and if he does have one of those games, you're going to be sitting pretty there. So what do you think of Derek Jones, my pick?
Yeah, yeah, great play, and I'm going to stick with my opinion with him at the pro since that's the way you phrased it, and as the leverage play. Um, I believe that he will go off if Kyrie doesn't take up all the shots. So see, Kyrie's not used to chucking those 25, 26 shot attempts. Usually those were getting spread around, and Derek Jones was the guy who usually was getting those. And if Derek Jones gets hot from three, which we all know he can, plus he takes it to the rack hard. He definitely, again, his salary's insane, as you mentioned, being low. So yeah, great pick. I don't think Kyrie's gonna have the same performance. I think he's gonna be more of the defensive minded again, and we're gonna see, more of the Kyrie that we saw in the Denver series than what we just saw in Game One. So yeah, love the pick.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So with that, that wraps us up. Looks like five players there. We shared, I believe, one, Anthony Edwards. So yeah, with that, please make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, notification bell. Drop a comment too on who do you think, who's your key players, who's you leverage play. Also, if you need any additional information, we'd love to hear that too, and we'll give our opinions down there. So yeah, we're going to be covering, probably video a day here up until these conference finals are over, because it looks like they alternate Eastern, Western, every other day here. So game two, this video, and then game three for Boston, Indiana will probably be the next video. Keeping in mind, next week we will have a UFC video, so we might take a break from the Eastern Conference to cover that. So yeah, with that, good luck. Hope to see you up on that leaderboard, and take us away.
Yep. Good luck to everybody out there. Stay tuned. As David mentioned, we're here. We'll be doing videos pretty much all the way through the finals. So if you guys got any ideas, any good leverage plays of your own, or reasons why you don't think our leverage plays are any good, please leave those in the comments and let us know. Good luck out there, and we'll see you guys on the next one.